Moin, I'm Catherine, and today I'm trying to catch up on a few book thingies that have been lying around for way too long. In April, I reread Tell the Wolves I'm Home by Rifka Brunt because I love that book so very, very much, and I had the opportunity to do a book talk about the novel with Laura Sack at the L Beach Festival. I'm going to link that in the corner, and also I realized that like Tell the Wolves I'm Home is one of the books that I've mentioned like whenever it's possible. So I've created a whole playlist just with videos in which I do mention or that are about Tell the Wolves I'm Home by Rifka Brunt. So that's how much I love this book. If you haven't read it, just do it. And I'm going to link that playlist in the corner too. And why only do one book talk with Laura Sack if you can do two book talks with Laura Sack? So I also talked with her about What I Love by Siri, Hustvedt, also one of my favorite novels of all time. I'm just going to link that book, that it's a video, that video in the corner too. And watch this, read the novel, do it. So I've tried to do a take on this in the last video and I didn't like it. So let me just tell you that I've spent a lot of time this year listening to the whole Robin Hobb Realm of the Elderlings series. I don't think I've read the or listened to the last 4 or 8 books or something because it's a lot. And those books must be shitty long because the audiobooks are like 20 to 30 hours, something like that. Was it a waste of my time? I'm not sure. Could I've used it better? Maybe. It didn't hurt. I liked some more, I liked some less. If you like fantasy, it's okay. It's okay. So we're still in April, and in April I also listened to Gloria Bryan's History of the Future by A.S. King. And actually, it's been so long I can't remember too much about it. I'm just going to tell you I gave it 3 out of 5 stars, and I would recommend it to you if you're into YA stories with feministic themes, strong female characters, and a tiny touch of surrealism. Getting to my May reads, in May, I have listened to My Real Children by Jo Walton, and I laughed among others by Jo Walton, so I wanted to read more by her. And this is about this old woman who has Alzheimer's, and she remembers 2 different pasts. And I loved the concept of the story. It's super amazing. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars, and just go and read it. Then I've listened to Under the Udala Trees by Chinelo Okparanta. I only gave it 3 out of 5 stars, and it may have been because I've listened to it as an audiobook. Because story wise, it is super interesting, and it's a coming out story of this girl who lives in Nigeria. So we have a little bit of Nigerian history in the story, and we have like the problem of being gay or queer in Nigeria. And for me, it's just so horrific to listen to something and realize that it's 2018 and there's still places in this world where you cannot live your sexuality and you cannot love whomever you want to love. And come on, people, let's do something about that. So I feel like I've only listened to audiobooks in May. The next one is Der Abfall der Herzen by Thorsten Nagelschmidt. And you can actually, like, if you understand German, listen to this on Spotify. Just a pro tip. I only gave it 3 out of 5 stars, two, and it may have been because I've listened to it over a long period of time, on and off again. And that may have gotten me out of things. I think I would have liked better if I actually read it, so maybe I'm going to do it again. Thorsten, I'm going to read it. It's more or less autobiographic. Thorsten Nagelschmidt sat down and tried to recapitulate one summer of his life in his youth, and he goes on this trip to meet people from the past again. He reads diary entries. I think they find some videotapes, and he listens to some stuff and watches some stuff from that year. And so he just tries to get into that year again and try to figure out how his mind works, what he forgets, what he doesn't forget, how amazing that other people remember stuff that he doesn't remember, which is super interesting, super nicely written. I mean, I like how Thorsten writes anyway. So yeah, absolute recommendation. Also in May and then going into June, I've listened to the His Fair Assassin trilogy by LaFevers, and I've just learned that she obviously lives in LA. I've just been in LA. That's so stupid. Robin, if you somehow see this, let's go together next time I'm in LA and do an interview together, because I like your books. I've liked the first one in the series very much. I gave it 4 or 5 stars. The second one, not too much, to be honest. And the third one, I liked again, I think 4 or 5 stars. And it's about those girls who live in this order and they are raised to be assassins to do the work of Death himself. And each novel follows one of those girls and then the stories intertwine with each other. And I love the concept. I love that very much. So maybe I just didn't like the voice of the second girl in the second. I can't remember that. But if you're into YA-ish young adult fiction, I do truly recommend this trilogy. So sometimes I actually do read like actual paper books. It feels a little bit embarrassing that I've only discovered Iris Murdoch now, but I did, so it's all good. I gave this 3 out of 5 stars because I read it over a very long period of time and I had trouble getting back into. I had trouble getting into the story. I had trouble getting back into the story. It's about this theater director who retires and buys a house at the sea, like very far away from everything else, and then his past comes visiting, and what happens then? And then sometime in the beginning of June, I made the decision to go to LA over the summer and I tried to figure out which authors live in LA. As we just learned, I wasn't very successful with this, like Robin LaFevers. What? But I did find some of them and I've tried to read and listen some of their stuff, but I'm going to put this in a separate video and I may have actually met some of them. So stay tuned for this other video. As soon as that's up on YouTube, I'm going to put in the corner here. And also never ever forget to support your local book dealer. Moin, I'm Catherine and today I'm in bed with Laura said.
Hi.
So we are here to talk about a book I love very, very much. It's called
Tell the Wolves I'm Home by Rifka Brunt.